These will be given away on number 300. I decided to go with a lighter shade this time. So April, these will be yours. These were the last ones. Here's the belt that I bought. Pretty slick. Well, we've made it to Alamo Square, and this is where we're gonna start part 2 of my 200 and 201 vlogs. Part 2 with the new sunglasses. We have to climb another hill. Now they're doing some work on the park, unfortunately, so they've got fences around most of the park, but they know lots of people come here for this, so they at least left a portion of it open. And right here is the shot we would have from the opening of Full House of the Painted Ladies, also known as Postcard Row. We'll go down and take a closer look. Right here where I'm standing is where they would have been having their picnic. Uncle Jesse and Joey and Danny and DJ and Stephanie and Michelle, they would have all been right here. And you would have seen that shot in the opening of Full House. Now, here are the Painted Ladies. The Painted Ladies are just like a name given to any like row of houses that are different colors. And but this is the San Francisco Painted Ladies. And the one on the end, this fourth one, this yellow one, a man named Matthew Cavanaugh was the guy who designed and created these 3 houses, and he actually lived in the yellow house. And that was these are Victorian and Edwardian designed houses. And this is probably one of the most picturesque, popular landmarks. And even though everybody thinks that this is, because it's in the intro Full House, this is where their house was, this wasn't. We are going to go to their house here very shortly. Now, the Painted Ladies were actually built in between 1892 and 1897, and they actually survived the 1906 disaster. Isn't that amazing? Let's do a walk by of them. I wonder who lives in them. And this is where the man who created them. Actually, wait, no, I was wrong. It's this house. This is the house that Matthew Cavanaugh lived in. 722, I'm sorry. This big one here on the corner. He was the architectural mastermind behind this whole thing. Wow, I was just walking by this, and this is the place you want to stay. It's called the Chateau Tivoli Bed and Breakfast. Wow. That thing is beautiful. Look at that. Look at that architecture. Like a castle. Look at that. It's even got gold trimming. Yeah, I'll say it's a mini park. So mini, there's nothing here. It did make me laugh though when I walked by. It said camping is prohibited. All right, our next destination is the Full House house. Let's go. Look at all the cable car crossways. Wow. I wonder what that dome is. This looks awesome with all this Fillmore Jazz pictures and posters up. Check out this house along the way. I like this crazy staircase going up the side, or kind of like going up the middle, right into that gate. But then check this out. There's like exercise stairs up there. I bet that is a beast. Look at this bizarre Uber car. Looks like something out of Mad Max. I would have to guess this is like an old firehouse, wouldn't you? Kind of looks like it. We're getting so close. We're like 2 blocks away. I promise. Cool stained glass lion. That lion belongs to this place. Whoopsie. More lions. As promised, there it is. The Tanner residence. Uncle Jesse, Joey, Danny, Stephanie, Michelle, and DJ, and sometimes Kimmy Gibbler. Now the cool thing about this house is that it had been up for sale for a while, and that's always kind of a sad thing because you never know who will end up with it. But in this case, it was pretty awesome because one of the producers of Full House bought it, and it kind of makes you think either he's gonna renovate it to be just like the show, maybe use it for the show, or more likely, or hopefully, he'll turn it into a museum to the show. Something. But this is in front now, so that's so awesome. How rude. Oh. I always watch this show. I think everybody in my generation did. Me and my sister both watched it. So cool. I love seeing movie houses. Even, oh, this one looks like it has some destruction to it. Part of the sides falling off. You can see where they've had to put supports in. That's sad. Small driveway, small garage, everything. I mean, it's not quite as big as you would have expected. But I guess up there would have been DJ and Stephanie's room. Pretty cool. True classic. And I figured since I'm only like 20-minute walk away, I should also go to the Mrs. Doubtfire house because I heard there's something pretty interesting there that I should see as well, so let's go. Not a bad walk, honestly. It's a lot of uphill, but a lot of cool scenery to look at too. I don't really like their description of honey. Balloon animals? Okay. Okay. We're almost there, and that's not a bad view. Look at that. Well, once again, we have made it. Here it is. Here's the house that Sally Field lives in. Robin Williams pretends to be Mrs. Doubtfire to see his kids. Pierce Brosnan blows everything, as well as this nosy neighbor that lives next door. And actually, what I wanted to come here to see was that when Robin Williams died, I heard that people were leaving all kinds of stuff here on the porch and whatnot, and that they were actually carving things into this tree. And there they are. Basically, it's become a memorial to Robin Williams. And I did bring a Sharpie. Here's the house. It's a great movie. It's not one of my favorite movies. I do believe I saw it in the theater, and it was totally inventive because I always love seeing Robin Williams play any kind of different character because he was always so good at it. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find like a bad performance. Maybe movies that weren't the best, but a bad performance, hardly ever. And this was almost like Robin doing Tootsie. Wow. I can't believe how much history I've seen in one day. And here's how big the Mrs. Doubtfire house is because it's on a corner. I'll show you what the corner lot looks like. I don't know what that little tower is, but it's not on my route, so I'm not going to find out today. Well, here we go downhill. Glad I'm going down and not up it. Jeez. $19.15. I guess everybody was lucky enough to get these stairs in 1915. More stairs. Absolutely genius. You turn this into a table. So cool. We'll be going to his apartment later on today, where he wrote Howl. Too bad I already ate. It's quite a tall bragging right. We still have a ways to go, but we are much closer. In a weird way, all these safety service bars are kind of like artwork to me. I love this old school sign, this old like 60s sign. I don't know why. Look at that. Look at the entrance to this place. Classic. You know who this reminds me of? The puppy paw steal your face. Just to give you a little bit of history, Lombard Street was actually named after Lombard Street in Pittsburgh. And we're gonna be heading up to the 8 hairpin turn part of the street that is known as the most crooked street in the world. Not today. I don't need any more bad luck in my life than what already comes its way on its own. Not going to the Fisherman's Wharf this time, but next time, I swear. I really wanted to go, I just won't have time. God, my better judgment told me when I was going down that big hill earlier I'd have to go up it. And I am. 2 more blocks. Oh. All right, I'm close. I know I'm close. Now, the reason I'm coming here isn't because of this goofy street that everybody likes to see. I'm just coming here because it's a byproduct of some other goofy thing I want to see, which is the 3rd season of The Real World, San Francisco. I want to see their house, and I know it's over here. You want to take a train car today sometime? It is 8 hairpin turns. I knew I was close because whenever the episode of The Real World would start, they would always show Lombard and Hyde Street. And the address, I should recognize it as soon as I see it. It's 949 Lombard. What a wacky street, huh? They make it so you can cross it and everything, but definite tourist attraction. Just so you guys know, I really wanted to do some of the bullet locations from the car chase scene, but it's spread out over like 4 or 5 different sections of the city. It's not all in one place. Lies. Who's hanging out on the walls? Awesome view nonetheless. So I'm guessing the Real World folks are right at the end of this, on the very next block. Well, this place looks abandoned. Maybe they need me to move in. History of Lombard Street. What is this? A clown car? At least I'm back to walking all downhill again. At the very least, I get to do that. And there it is. The Real World house. Probably the most memorable and probably the most dramatic real worlds of them all, because this was the season that you had Pedro Zamora, who was living with AIDS, and he was living in the house. And shortly after the end of the season, he would end up dying of AIDS. This is the season where they had Puck, the psychotic bike messenger, who would blow snot rockets out of his nose and eat peanut butter with his fingers. They eventually had to kick him out. This was the season of Rachel, Pam, Corey, Judd. This was it. And now I believe it's up for rent again. And that was always the frontal view that they would show of where they lived. But they actually lived up here in this back entrance, I believe. Even when I'm out of LA, I'm still dealing with this stuff. But there's the house. I don't think I ever missed an episode of this season. Good grief. I really want some coffee right now, but I'm gonna walk down this street because there's a really famous coffee place called Cafe Trieste I want to go to down here. Cafe Trieste is pretty famous for a lot of reasons, but one of them is it's where Francis Ford Coppola wrote the screenplay for The Godfather. Cafe Trieste is also the oldest espresso bar on the West Coast. Now I still have a handful of places that I want to hit on this trip, but I'm really hoping to get a ride a streetcar. I just don't want to take one if it's going to take me out of my way. The building way off in the distance is called the Coit Tower, and Coit Tower was donated by a rather wealthy lady who at one point during the 1906 earthquakes, when the fires broke out, a real young girl went out and started helping the fire department, and then started yelling at all the people in the neighborhood for not coming out and helping as well. And she saved, I forget how many people they said she saved, but she became the mascot of the fire department of San Francisco. I think I'm exaggerating, and I'm not. In the 2 blocks that I've been here in North Beach, I'd say easily half of every building I've walked past was a coffee house. And I'm not exaggerating. There's another one there. There's one right there. I just passed 3. There's 2 down there. They're everywhere. They should just name this Coffee House City. Another statue dedicated to the firemen of San Francisco. 1849 to 1866. I wonder if they went statue happy again and just had to put one up at Ben Franklin because they ran out of people to put one up of. Look at this church. I'm in another park. This church is right on the other side of it. So cool. I love architecture. Who doesn't? It's so cool. If you're not seeing as much cool stuff as I do in a new city when I go out, you're slipping. Look at that sign. That thing is ancient. And Carrie would kill me if I did not come to Buster's. It's her favorite cheesesteak place. And we came here last time I was here. It was amazing. Here's all of my notes for the trip of all the places I wanted to go to today. And here's my amazing Philly cheesesteak. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I'm in here eating my Philly cheesesteak and this guy just parked his car and it looks like the Mr. Bean car. Or like Rock Hudson's car from Send Me No Flowers. Yeah, I got the Philly with the cheese whiz. That is a lonely lipstick. Right around the corner is Cafe Trieste. Awesome. Pavarotti. W.C. Fields. This is a hot spot. Lawrence Ferlinghetti still comes here. All the Beats used to come here. Like I said, Francis Ford Coppola wrote most of The Godfather in here. Paul Cantor from Jefferson Airplane. Bill Cosby used to be one that they bragged about. That's Coppola writing right over in this corner. So cool. We're gonna leave Cafe Trieste now. Wow, what a historic place. And a lot of those old beat poets that are still alive, they still come here, they said. All right, we're coming up to the Condor Club, which is a strip club, but it was the very first topless strip club anywhere, starting in 1969. And right across the street is 2 of our destinations as well. City Lights Bookstore and Publishers and the Cafe Vesuvio. All those books flying in the air. And you can probably see right there is the start of Chinatown, so we're gonna hit some of the beat spots and then go to Chinatown. A couple of topless clubs over there, including the Beat Museum. I might go check out the Beat Museum. Now, City Lights is famous because this was one of the first, if not the very first, pocket bookstore specializing in paperbacks, and they had a magazine out in the early 60s, and they would publish independent writers. One day, Lawrence Ferlinghetti was walking by here, ran into the owner out front, and told him that he had been published in the magazine, They became friends. Lawrence Ferlinghetti got a job here. And that's, this is the place, these are the people. Lawrence Ferlinghetti was the man who discovered Allen Ginsberg. Saw Allen Ginsberg perform some of the poetry from Howl, signed him the next day, released it in a little paper book, and then the store was actually busted, raided and arrested for selling pornographic writing. So it's always been a very activist kind of bookstore. And they also put out some of the records by Charles Bukowski reading his poetry, as well as Shel Silverstein. Wow. This is like the haven for free speech. There's Ginsberg. And we're actually, I'm going to take us over to the apartment where Allen Ginsberg wrote Howl. Truly is pretty amazing the history that happened in this place. I mean, in 1956, to have the writing seized by U.S. Customs and the police department and have to go through a lengthy court case just to prove that your writing, your poetry, and your book is not obscene. It's amazing in some ways how far we've come, right? Now you guys have to see this. This is the Jack Kerouac Alley, and then this is the Cafe Vesuvio we're going to go into. This place is pretty amazing because this was the drinking bar of all the beat poets. Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, all those guys. But this is the Kerouac alleyway. And then this little corridor actually walks us right into Chinatown. But we're gonna go there a little bit later. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna go there at the end of the night. And I know it probably looks like I've eaten a ton, but I've had 2 meals on the vlog, and there's the only 2 meals I've had all day. I waited a long time before I had my first meal of the day. And they've got this quote by Jack Kerouac in the middle of the alley. It says, the air was soft, the stars so fine, the promise of every cobbled alley so great. And here's the Zodiac Wall. Well, they call it the first Zodiac Wall. See all the laundry hanging out of the window? We're definitely in Chinatown. Plus, the other reason I think I want to wait for to go to Chinatown is because I want to go to Vesuvio Cafe later. It's mainly a bar. It's like mainly a bar, and I don't really drink, but I kind of want to go in there. See that stained glass window on the other side? So, we'll come back. Woman's butt. Lots of strip clubs over here, even the Garden of Eden. Hungry Club. There's the Beat Museum. I don't know what the deal is here. I don't know if it's like a bookstore or what. Oh, cool. Neil Cassidy's table. Wow. Visits from Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg. Amazing. the car from on the road. Wow. I'm gonna go in the Beat Museum next time I come here because there's some other stuff I want to do and I want to make sure it's still light out when I get there. I'm not sure what Fame on Broadway is. Our next destination is right around the corner. And right here, if you can believe it, where this Head Start place is for kids, this is the apartment where Allen Ginsberg wrote Howl. That book of poetry that I was telling you about that had him up on obscenity trial. Wow. Can't believe it's not a museum or something. 1010 Montgomery. I don't know which apartment it was, but it was in this building. If you were a fan of the Beats, you're probably loving this tour, this part of the tour right now, aren't you? Alright, this is the Comstock Saloon. This is the second oldest bar in San Francisco. And the reason that my friend Carrie wanted me to go in there, and I'm not going to go because I just don't want to, I don't really drink. They still have piss troughs or pee troughs or urinals underneath the bar, so you don't even have to get up out of your stool. So there you go. For that drinker who can't be pulled away from the bar. Alright, so we do have to go into Chinatown for a little bit because I forgot there was one thing on our tour that's down here. Something that most people wouldn't take you to see, but I am. Well, we're here at the Chinese hospital in Chinatown, and I felt it was worth coming by because this is where Bruce Lee was born, the master of martial arts. Since I was going to be over somewhat in this neighborhood, I thought that'd be a very unique thing to put on here. Now, of course, I don't know what room he was born in, but this was it. Look at the view of the bridge from here. Wow. And I don't think I'm going to make it over to the San Francisco bridge because, I mean, I saw it off in the distance, but I didn't go anywhere near it today. Nope, you misread that. It's not exactly what you think. Sell out with beer? I'm no sellout. This Chinatown's no better than the one in LA. A couple of cooler building structures, but that's about it. Like this one across the street. Check this out. That's kind of cool. I think I may end up hitting everything on my list, like with 2 hours to spare. That would be cool. This seriously looks like the scene out of an action movie. A crotch rocket waiting for the escape in this dingy alley with all these Chinese storefronts. That should be me! That should be me! But I'm only going like a block further, so. Alright, I'm at my next stop. And it might be too late, I'm not exactly sure. It's 5:15 right now. It's the Cable Car Museum. I just figured I'd check it out if it's open. May not be. 10 to 5. Oh, it's closed. Okay, I guess we won't be going to that. Closed till... Wait, that's open, right? Oh wait, no. That's tomorrow. Okay. Okay, before Valentino moved to Los Angeles, he actually was in a traveling play. And the play got canceled in Utah. And part of his severance for the pay, or for the play being canceled, was that he got his remaining bus ticket or train ticket to San Francisco, which is where the play was going to end. He was later honored, once he was a big star, by the mayor of San Francisco. He was given a dog, There's a famous picture of him taken right in front of the Fairmont Hotel. So I want to go and match up that shot at the Fairmont. I do realize in some cases I picked some pretty peculiar things to want to go see, but you know me. My silent movie fix. And the Fairmont was the one primarily that I wanted to get to while it was still light out, so I'm happy now. And right here is where the photo was taken. He would have been sitting right there with the dog that he was given by the mayor of San Francisco. Right here's where Valentino would have been sitting. So cool, the way history repeats itself sometimes. I mean, I'm not Valentino, but somebody who wants to just stand and sit where he sat. Pretty cool. And somehow I just about walked away without noticing and not reading anywhere before I got here that in the Fairmont Hotel's front yard is a statue to Tony Bennett. Do you know why? Let me show you why. It says, Tony Bennett, I left my heart in San Francisco. Debuted 1961 at the Fairmont Hotel. Lots of history here at the Fairmont. And the church bells are going off. Tony Bennett, the award-winning musician whose career spans over 6 decades, performed and introduced the song I Left My Heart in San Francisco in the famed Venetian room of the Fairmont Hotel in December of 1961. Well, that explains it. Mr. Bennett has been one of the city's greatest and most celebrated ambassadors, endearing him to generations of San Franciscans and fans around the world. Hell yeah. The Grace Cathedral Church. And this was founded in 1842 during the Gold Rush. And it's supposedly known for its intricate mosaics. So let's take a walk up there and check it out. Oh yeah, I see what they mean. Wow. I think it's all scenes from the Gold Rush. Oh no, it's all biblical. All biblical scenes, of course. Is that a castle in front of us? Sweet. Alright, I'm not gonna lie. Our next stop might be my most anticipated place on the whole trip. Because I know the stories about this place, and there are many. But I've never been here. I didn't take this on the last trip I was at. And I'm just really fascinated to see it in person. I almost kind of feel like this place that we're going is haunted or cursed. Just from all the stories that I've found out about it. I was walking by this square and I just felt like I should walk through it. And I'm right across the street from where I was looking for anyway, so. That looks like Athena up there. Well, here it is. This is actually the most anticipated place on my trip, for me anyway. The place I wanted to see the most. The Westin St. Francis. Now this place has tons of history. As far back as 1906 is the funniest story that I remember. And that story was that actor John Barrymore was here entertaining someone else's fiance in his room, the legend has it. And the 1906 earthquake hit. He was in town doing a production and was entertaining her in his room, and when the rumbling started happening, the rumor was that he thought it was his magnificent sexual prowess. And then when people from the hotel came up and let them know that it was martial law, they put him to work and made him help stack bricks. And it was pretty funny, his uncle Drew made a comment in a newspaper and said, well, it took an act of God to get him out of bed, and it took the US government to put him to work. That was in 1906. And then it's probably most famous, most well-known, for 1921, this is the hotel where Roscoe Fatty Arbuckle was accused of raping and killing a woman in rooms 1219, 1220, and 1221. And as much reading as I can do, the real story is that he decided to throw a Labor Day party up here. Took 3 of his cars, drove a few friends, and invited some actresses and actors, and they all came up here, and Virginia Rapay, the woman who ended up dying, apparently had had up to 5 abortions in her life and had had one the day before this party. She was feeling sick from the alcohol and from the abortion. She tried to extort money from Fatty when he came in to find out what was wrong, and she yelled at him, "This is your fault." And one of her friends was in the room, and her friend took that to mean that he raped her. So a national trial went on, ruined Fatty's reputation, and I'm actually going to do a vlog about that when I go to his house. But in the end, the truth was that Fatty never touched her, and that William Randolph Hearst owned the newspapers, and it was just a salacious story because Fatty was so well loved that it was easy to capture people's imagination, and his entire career was ruined. And in the end, William Randolph Hearst actually ended up giving Fatty Arbuckle a directing job right at the end of his life, and said, Fatty said, "I can't believe you hired me," and William Randolph Hearst said, "Well, don't take it personal. It was nothing personal, it was just business," referring to ruining his career. But the reports were that Fatty had raped her or had shoved champagne bottles in her, and this all came out to not be true. He was actually tried 2 times. The public defender was trying to build a case so that he could run for governor, and so every time it was landed a hung jury, 10 in favor of Fatty and 2 against. The first time, this prosecutor just kept bringing it to trial until the 3rd time when he when it went to the jury actually wrote him an apology, and Fatty was so humiliated he was blacklisted from pretty much movies, ended up changing his name to his father's name and working as a crew member on movies pretty much till he died. But the other story about the St. Francis is that it was here that a woman tried to assassinate Gerald Ford in 1975 as he was walking through the doorway. So this place is just chock full of history. And I really don't know if there's any reason to go too far in, but mainly this was the Fatty Arbuckle scandal, and that's really what I wanted to see. Like I said, I think his rooms actually would have been on the other side of here, because they said that his rooms overlooked Powell and Geary, and this is the corner of Powell and Geary, so probably those very top rooms would have 3 rooms, 1219, 1220, and 1221. I decided to come in and at least see what it looked like, being how historical it was. Let's go take a look around until they throw me out. This picture in the top is the aftermath after the 1906 earthquake, the way it destroyed the inside of here. And that would have been this room they had to refinish. That's where John Barrymore would have been forced to stack those bricks. Wow. And then there's a public meal for the people that helped with the San Francisco earthquake, 1906. Here's some of the silverware they pulled out of the rubble. Not a terrible surprise, but they have no memorabilia, no nothing of Fatty Arbuckle here. I'm sure that they are trying to forget that ever happened. Actually, it was probably like really good for their hotel. Probably good publicity. You know, the sad thing about Fatty Arbuckle is that when he left, he thought that she was okay. He didn't know that she had died. And so he went back to Los Angeles and was none the wiser until they showed up and surprised him at his home. Alright guys, if you can believe it, on my list of things to do on my tour, I only have 1 more stop. And then I'm going to have about 3 hours to kill and go do whatever I want. Yes! Wow, look at this art store. Those are all metal sculptures. Wow. Well, I'm about to get on my train car today, finally. And there would have been Fatty Arbuckle's rooms right up there, the 12th floor, the very top. Well, I've been passed up by 3 train cars, so I'm just gonna walk to my last location, go have fun, and then ride the train car back at the end of the night. Plus the train cars are $7 each way, and I'm only going 3 blocks. I didn't know that. I thought it was just the same as a transfer pass. So that's why I'm gonna ride it later at the end of the night when I'm coming back. And there in front of us, that gigantic building, that's our last stop. That's the Bank of America building. And the reason I want to go there is because that's where Scorpio shoots the woman in the pool at the very beginning of Dirty Harry. And that's where Dirty Harry goes up and finds that shell. And that building right here, that's where she was swimming in the pool. And Scorpio would have been right up here and shot her dead. Boom. Now I am a huge Dirty Harry fan, huge. And this is the same exact route that he walks after he's found the dead woman and he's investigating it and he realizes it's coming from this building. Comes over here, crosses the street, and walks right in those front doors right there. What's not to like about a detective that hates everyone, doesn't want a partner, and lives off of hot dogs? There it is. Filming location from Dirty Harry. Well, let's go in Chinatown. So there's nobody driving down this street, so I'm just gonna walk down it because this is the most festive street in all of Chinatown. All the way down to that guy. I think he's playing Auld Lang Syne. Hey, he is. Well, Happy New Year to you too, buddy. What a great trip. Only wish Jock could have been here. I've always been mesmerized by the Legend of Confucius, and this is like the Zoltar machine of it.
It's about as lightly oxidized as possible. So
Tea tasting.
Flavor, just adding the fresh.
This is the black tea.
And so, like with ginger, we do have a ginger.
Gold Rush. Look how they have the bridge lit up at night. Well, I'm gonna finish the vlog here in Cafe Trieste before I hop on my bus. I'm sitting in the same spot that Francis Ford Coppola sat in while he wrote the Godfather screenplay. Good night.